He is getting closer again. You feel it, don't you? That almost imperceptible sensation that something is different. Suddenly a simple message, maybe too casual. "Hi," he says, as if nothing happened. But within that word, there is a universe of intentions, something deeper than the word's own sound. You can feel the energy behind it, almost palpable, as if it's pulling you to a place you do not yet know, but recognize. He wants something. But what is it? This is what we are about to uncover. And then he tries. Maybe a comment on a photo. A casual like that seems like a secret message. He wants to be seen, wants to be noticed, but without exposing himself too much. Do you notice? He isn't silent by chance. Each gesture is a careful move, almost as if he's drawing a path to you, one step at a time, but without hurry. And you? What do you feel when you see these small appearances? There is something inside of you that responds to each sign, an expectation that you try to control, but it's no use. Because he's invading your thoughts, coming back again, in a way only he knows how. Have you ever thought about why this affects you so much? Maybe it's because deep down you still hold on to something, a kind of hope that remained, not just any hope. It's that desire that hides even when you pretend you've forgotten. Each time he gets closer, it's like something is awakened. It's as if he knew exactly how to touch those invisible strings, bringing to the surface what you preferred to keep hidden. He knows, and you know too. This feeling is not a mistake. It has a purpose. And when he appears, you are left with two options: respond or ignore. But is ignoring really possible? I'm not talking about pretending not to see, because we can all do that. I'm talking about truly ignoring, about feeling nothing, about not having that internal reaction that, whether you like it or not, always arises. Because when he gives those little signs, something inside you stirs, even if you don't want it to. It's as if he knows all the shortcuts to get to you. The question is, what do you want to do with this? He is sending signals, yes, but is that enough? Or do you feel that he needs to try harder, that he needs to show more than these scattered gestures? Let that doubt grow, because maybe it's the answer you're looking for. He's approaching, but why now? Just when you were starting to get used to the absence, to reorganize your own feelings, to rebuild your own peace, and then he appears. Not with a grand gesture, not with an obvious declaration, but with a veiled strategy where each action seems carefully calculated to awaken something inside you, a memory perhaps, a forgotten desire. And it's as if he knows that, no matter how much you deny it, no matter how much you pretend to be completely fine, these small signs have the power to shake your world. Look closely at this. This game of appearing and disappearing, it's as if he's testing, an attempt to probe the ground to see if you still respond, if there is still something in you that waits for him. He sends a casual message, then goes silent for days, and just when you start to think he's disappeared again, there he is, reappearing in a subtle way, almost like a shadow. But it's not just any shadow. It's a presence you feel with all its force, because he knows how to make himself felt. And why does this affect you so much? The issue is not about the message itself, nor about the gesture. It is about everything that lies behind it. Because this is not just a simple conversation. It is the continuation of something that ended without a clear closure. He knows this, and that is exactly what he is exploring. It's as if each message carries a piece of what you lived through, a fragment of the story that hasn't yet closed. That is what he is offering, or at least implying. And you feel, you notice every detail. He knows you well, knows where to touch to awaken the right emotions. Every word, every subtly cast phrase is a reminder of something deeper. It's not just about what he says, it's about what he doesn't say, about what remains between the lines. And those between the lines hold you, make you think, make you question if there's something there that deserves to be explored again. Or is it just a game of wills, a test to see how far you are willing to go? Because he wants you to respond, but not just anyway. He wants to pull you back little by little without letting you fully realize that's what he's doing. And each time you feel that, a part of you wants to resist, wants to protect yourself. But there's another part, perhaps quieter, that still responds, that still cares. Because deep down, you know that the bond between you two was never severed. Not completely. But what does he really want after all? This is the question that keeps running through your mind. Is he truly looking for something serious? Or is this just a power game? Because if there's one thing he knows how to do, it's play that game. And you in the middle of it, trying to discern what is genuine and what is manipulation. He's asking you to believe again, to open up, even if subtly, but he doesn't lay all his cards on the table at once. And this is part of the strategy, you know that. But to what extent are you willing to continue in this game? How much longer are you going to wait for a clear answer, a definitive action? Or maybe you already know the answer, but lack the courage to admit it. And if he asked you now, what do you want from me? Would you have an answer? Would you have the courage to say exactly what you feel, what you think, what you expect? Because he knows you're involved, even if you don't want to admit it. And that's his advantage. He feels he still has some power over you, that he can come and go, test the limits, see how far you will go before taking action. He feels he still controls the game, but does he really understand how much this affects you? After all, how long will he keep appearing and disappearing, leaving you in suspense? And how long will you allow him to have this power? Because every time he vanishes, you keep thinking about what was said, what wasn't, what could have been, and all this anticipation holds you back, ties you down, as if you're waiting for an answer that might never come. But he doesn't stop. And you, whether you like it or not, keep waiting. You know he's not going to give you a clear answer, that he might never plainly say what he wants. And maybe that's what he wants, to keep you in this state of doubt, where you can't break free, where you're always trapped in uncertainty, thinking that at any moment he will finally give you an answer. But what if that answer never comes? Are you prepared to accept that? It is important that you look inward and ask yourself if this is really what you want. If you want to live in this back and forth, this constant doubt, where nothing is certain and everything is left up in the air. Because he will continue, as long as he feels you are there, that you still respond, that you still feel. He knows that this is powerful. And you know that to get out of this, you need to make a decision that he may not expect. Perhaps it's time for you to stop waiting, to let go of this hope that he feeds with minimal gestures. Perhaps it's the moment to turn the page, to take control of what you want and let him realize that he no longer has the power to make you wait. Because deep down, you know you deserve more than this. Change the dynamics, let him understand that he can no longer keep you in this uncertainty. Either he takes a stand, or you decide. Because what he has been doing is keeping you suspended, and that, over time, can exhaust you. You know you have come too far at this point. This waiting, this silent patience, this space you have given, all of it costs. And it costs a lot. It costs energy, it costs peace, it costs every piece of you that still holds on to hope. But how long is this going to last? Because while he plays the game of appearing and disappearing, you are there, on the waiting line, counting the days, interpreting the signs, giving meaning to the words he throws to the wind. And don't be mistaken, he notices this. He knows that by sending a casual message, he reignites something in you. He knows that by liking a photo, making a comment, or appearing out of nowhere, he brings that feeling, that memory to the surface. He knows the intensity of the bond you share, knows exactly where to touch so that you still feel. But you need to ask yourself if this is what you want for yourself. Because there is a difference between someone who seeks you out because they truly feel, because they genuinely want to be by your side, and someone who shows up just to ensure that you are still there. He needs the reassurance that you still feel something for him, that you still react to his gestures. It is almost a fuel for him, this sensation of being able to bring you back whenever he wants. But what about you? Where does that leave you? The time you spend wondering what he wants, where this will lead, could be time you dedicate to yourself, to your desires, to your life, which is there waiting for you. This constant doubt, this need to interpret his every action, his every silence, wears you out little by little. And deep down, you know that no one deserves to live in this anxiety, in this limbo of not knowing what is real and what is just a game. Perhaps you need to look at this clearly. Ask yourself what you really want and what you are willing to accept. Because it is not just about understanding what he wants, but about realizing if what he has to offer is enough for you. This insecurity, this constant back and forth, this silence interspersed with small gestures, all of this is a reflection of his uncertainty. And the question that remains is, do you deserve to be treated with such uncertainty? You are someone who knows what they want, who feels deeply, who gives the best of themselves, and maybe, just maybe, what he is willing to give is not enough. You deserve someone who takes a stand, who chooses to be with you, who does not leave you in doubt. And if he is not capable of that, maybe it is time for you to choose. Not choose for him, but choose for yourself. Imagine for a moment what it would be like to live without this anxiety, without the weight of waiting for something that never truly comes, without the need to interpret signs, to decipher gestures, to try to understand where he wants to go. You deserve someone who is clear, someone who is by your side with conviction, who doesn't play with your patience, who doesn't take advantage of your feelings. You deserve someone who, instead of leaving you in doubt, brings you peace. Perhaps he has accustomed you to this uncertainty. Perhaps he has made you believe that this is normal, that this is how things are. But deep down, you know it's not. Deep down, you feel that you deserve more than loose words, more than incomplete gestures. You feel that you deserve someone who is present, someone who doesn't leave you wondering each day if he will stay or leave again. So, ask yourself, does he really have something to offer? Or does he just want to ensure that you are still there, available, waiting? Because sometimes his presence is just that, a way to keep you close without really committing, a way to keep the doors open without ever fully stepping in. Maybe you are holding on to something you should have let go of already, because true love, the kind that makes you grow, that makes you feel complete, doesn't come in pieces. It doesn't appear and disappear. It doesn't leave you in doubt. The love that is worth it is not a puzzle you have to solve on your own. It is clear, it is constant, it gives you peace. And if he is not capable of offering that, if all he can give are these crumbs, then perhaps it's time for you to be honest with yourself, because you deserve more. You deserve someone who doesn't leave you waiting, who doesn't treat you as an option, someone who is truly by your side, who chooses to be present, who doesn't need to send signals for you to know what he wants. So, what do you want? Now is the time for clarity and honesty with yourself. This cycle, this silent waiting for signals that never fully materialize, may seem familiar, but that doesn't mean it has to be part of your path. Often we end up accepting less than we deserve because the idea of something is seductive, because the gestures are carefully released, leaving that hope that at the next meeting, in the next message, maybe things will be different. But what if they're not? What if what you have now is all he is really willing to give? He reappears, throws a smile, a message, a high that has the power to bring out a world of feelings. And you, someone who feels deeply, who loves intensely, end up clinging to this, getting involved in a universe of expectations. But the truth is that this type of relationship, where you always need to interpret and guess, where everything is vague and unstable, exhausts you. It's as if, with each of his gestures, you nurture a part of yourself, but at the same time, you leave another part of yourself aside, forgetting the peace you deserve. Because peace is this. It's clarity. It's knowing where you stand. And love doesn't need to be a constant struggle for answers. Think about everything you offer, all the energy, the affection, the care you bring to this relationship. You are someone who, when giving yourself, does it for real, with everything you have. You deserve someone who recognizes this, who sees your worth and is willing to build alongside you, not just show up every now and then to ensure you're still there. Because love is presence. Love is a commitment to the other person's peace. It is an act of choice, and that choice needs to be made every day, not at spaced intervals, not only during convenient moments. It's time for you to ask yourself if this type of relationship is what you really want. If this feeling of almost, of something that never completes, is enough to fulfill you. Because deep down, you know you deserve more. Changing this perspective can be difficult. It may even hurt, but in the end, it is a liberation. It is giving yourself the chance to make space for someone who is truly present, someone who is not afraid to show it, who doesn't leave you in doubt. You are worthy of a love that is clear, that brings you security, that is more than crumbs of attention. Every time you choose to wait, when you respond to sparse gestures, when you accept these small doses of presence, you are, without realizing it, telling yourself that this is enough. And maybe it isn't. Maybe what you want is something that makes you feel whole, that doesn't leave spaces of uncertainty. Sometimes we need to take an action that seems radical to finally put ourselves on the right path. And if he is not capable of offering you what you need, then perhaps it is time for you to take control, to choose what makes you feel good. This choice is not about him, but about you, about the life you want to build for yourself. Now, I want to invite you to reflect. Have you ever lived through a similar situation? Have you felt this conflict between what you want and what the other offers you? Leave your comment below, share your experience, because many people may be going through something similar, and your story can inspire them to seek something better. Let's build this space of support and exchange together. If this content resonated with you, made you think, and maybe gave you a little push to reflect on what you really want, leave your like. This helps this message reach other people who may need to hear these words. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We are here to grow together, to build relationships that make us feel good, that bring us peace, that are genuine. This journey is ours, and every reflection, every exchange strengthens us. Choosing self-love is a journey, but it starts now, and you are not alone.